What's going on, all you mentees? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today I get to bring back one of my favorite segments, and one that I have been asked when it was coming back, and that is graphic novel hidden gems. So let's talk about some of these books that I hardly hear anyone talk about. Let's get started. And welcome back, everybody. Now, if you're not familiar with this segment, this is the segment where I usually pick 5 books. Sometimes the astonishing Melanie helps me out. And we talk about these 5 graphic novels that we hardly hear anybody talk about, or they don't get enough show out there or recognition for what they are. And they are true hidden gems, according to us. But some of you all have left wonderful comments, like suggesting some books that eventually became hidden gems. So thank you all, and please keep doing that. Please hit that like button, subscribe, ring that bell for notification. All of that helps with our YouTube algorithm and our channel keep growing. So yeah, these are just my hidden gems. I would love to know what yours are. If you're new to the channel, please leave those down below. I may have read them, I may not have. And just like you may have read some of the ones that I'm going to be showing. I'm not sure why I'm pointing there. The books aren't even over there. You may have read some of the books that we are showcasing today. And you may love them or you may hate them. But hopefully you can at least find one book here that you want to check out. Now, let's get started. Kicking off the hidden gems this time around is Fight for Tomorrow. This is by Brian Wood and Dennis Cohen. It is published by Vertigo Comics. That's no longer around, but it's DC Comics. So this is Brian Wood, the gentleman that brought us DMZ, Conan. He's written X-Men. He's written Northlanders. And then we have Dennis Cohen, a true legend in the comics field. He's been around for years, did The Question, Moon Knight, and worked on several milestone titles, and he's still working to this day. And this particular graphic novel, the story focuses around this character named Cedric Zhang, who for 15 years was kidnapped and held against his will to be put into this fighting ring, like underground illegal fighting. And that's pretty much what he's been doing since he was kidnapped as a young kid. He's getting the hell beat out of him almost every other day, but somehow he keeps finding the strength to keep getting up and moving, and that is usually found in the shoulders of Christie, who was also kidnapped against her will and put to fight in this illegal competition. This story is done through a series of flashbacks because when we begin, we get to see that both Cedric and Christie have been rescued from this life 6 months ago. However, 3 weeks ago, Christie went missing. So now Cedric has to go out there and try to find her in his own way, in this dark and gritty city that he's not really familiar with, because now they're starting a new life in New York City. And while he's trying to find her out there, he's trying to find himself too, because for 15 years this kid was brought up to just be a fighting machine, and now he's been put out into society. So I think this is a really good, heartfelt story. Nobody really talks about this one. I think it's got some awesome artwork by Dennis Cohen. He brings the grittiness of New York and the fighting life to life. It's dark, it's dirty, and I think his art just fits the tone of the book. This is mature content, and it is an all-in-one. This is told all through just one graphic novel. There's no follow-up after this. And even though it's out of print, it can still be found pretty cheap. But like I mentioned, it is mature content, so if that's not your cup of tea, or violence is not your cup of tea, then definitely pass on this one. Next up is A City Inside by Tilly Walden, published by Avery Hill Publishing. This one is short. This is only 56 pages. This one is teen. There is a softcover available, but believe it or not, the hardcover is easier to find. So Tilly Walden was brought to my attention a couple of years ago when Wonder Maddie and the Amazing Amanda and I did a book for Old Reader, New Reader called Spinning. And it's about a little girl that skates, and ice skates, sorry. And I didn't think I had anything in common with this book. I wasn't in the mood to read it, but I fell in love with it. I thought it was great. I love the protagonist of the story. So I was intrigued when I found out that she had written a lot of other books. I was also intrigued when I found out that she was born in 1996, which is the year I graduated high school. So what? How did she write so many books already? But anyway, this was one that was sent to me by my buddy Freddie, and I've read this 3 times already. It's a short, quick read. Describing it is very difficult, though. because how do you even begin to describe this beautiful story? To me, this is an engaging, beautiful, emotional story about love, sacrifices, loss, finding yourself, figuring out where you belong in this world, and by the end of it, understanding that you are enough. But it's all done in a surreal style in this possible future or alternate dimension where you see the life of the main character from small child all the way up into adulthood until she's an older or elderly lady. There's a lot of regrets in the life and a lot of things that she holds on to that she could never let go. There's some beautiful poetic words in here, and the way that it is written, drawn, I think fit. To me, it's one of those rare cases where you don't have to know exactly what's going on to get everything out of this story. And I think that's the beauty of these type of stories, is that no matter what, you're going to get something different than I did. And it's the beauty of graphic novels. So much like spinning, I think anyone can relate to this book and can put themselves in that state of retrospect to look back at your life, no matter how old you are. Again, this one is teen and available in hardcover. That's the best way to get it. It's a short little book, 56 pages, but completely worth checking out.
Astonishing Melanie's turn. Let me tell you about the Snifter of Terror, Terror. Volume 1 by Ahoy Comics. It is a lot of fun. This is definitely a hidden gem. So this is a collection of Edgar Allan Poe inspired stories, or just maybe that time period, like Jules Verne thrown in. Think macabre, strange, weird, with artists and authors like Anne Nocenti, Tom Payer, Mark Russell, somebody else. Who is it, Omar? Peter Milligan, etc. I mean, there's a lot jam-packed into this book that's, well, only retails for $19.99. Like, this is a really good deal, and we're not sponsored by Ahoy Comics, because it's not just comics, but it's also got like prose after practically, I think, every issue that's it, or story that's in here, and it's so cool to see everybody's different take on the macabre and strange and dark and mysterious. And there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek, though. It does not take itself seriously. Satire of political situations. Let's say The Fall of the House of Usher is about the White House. We've got even parodies where I really like this story at the beginning where it deals with vampires and a breakfast cereal club kind of thing going, and all the breakfast mascots are the people, that kind of thing. So if you think Mad Magazine, if you enjoyed that type of satire, parody, tongue-in-cheek humor, you'll definitely be interested in this.
Elsewhere by Jay Fairbairn and Sumei Keskin. This is published by Image Comics. Now, this is a teen book, and it is in trade paperback. There are only 2 volumes, so that's pretty much it. That's all you need. Now, we've seen the concept of young girl or young boy traveling to another dimension, helping save that dimension, and we've seen that concept over and over again. It's a magical world where these magical beings exist, and they have to help and destroy the evil in that world. From The Wizard of Oz to several manga titles like Magic Knight Ray Earth. And of course, now that's actually, people now these days call it an isekai, where a young person travels to another dimension. I don't care how many times I read those type of stories. I love them. I'm just absorbed in those type of stories. So that's what this graphic novel series is about this young pilot who mysteriously gets taken into another world, and where she is faced with flying beasts and creatures that she's not used to, and she's trying to find a way home. Along the way, this young aviator forges alliances with some of the creatures from this world. Here's the kicker. The young pilot happens to be Amelia Earhart. That's right, our Amelia Earhart. I don't know why I'm claiming her. The Amelia Earhart that disappeared somewhere over the Central Pacific in 1937. But in Elsewhere, both her and her navigator, Fred Noonan, get transported to this magical world called Corvath. Of course, there's this evil being there, and, well, you can find out for yourself. There's a lot of plot twists in this one that I enjoyed. And does she ever get reunited with Fred Noonan? And is she the only human that is in this world? Well, all those answers are in this particular book. The other thing that I enjoyed about these is the artwork by Keskin. I think that Keskin got to play around with a lot of the landscapes and was just given freedom to design these creatures and backgrounds. And the backgrounds are absolutely beautiful too. The art is easy to follow. It kind of reminds me of a mix between like Tony Moore and Joel Jones. The sequential art is easy to follow. You don't get lost, no matter how many crazy magical creatures get into panels. The book is rated teen, and like I said, it's only 2 volumes, so you can find it pretty easy too, because I think both of them are still in print. Last but not least, how in the world have I not talked about these books on this channel? Liberty Meadows by Frank Cho. This is published by Image Comics. They were originally a comic strip. So this one here, I think, is definitely older teen just because of some of the jokes that are in here. So, you may have heard the name Frank Cho. He's had work published at Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Boom, Image, just about every publisher. And he's known for his rather thick ladies. So this is something that he self-published before any other work that he did at DC or Marvel or anywhere else. It's just that Image decided to publish these old stories, these old comic strips. Now he does add pages in here to kind of bring the story together. So the pages that are added in here take place 99 years in the future, where you see the characters of Ralph and Leslie tell a reporter about how it all started, and then you get the first story of how Frank, one of the characters in here, meets this gorgeous lady named Brandy. So what is Liberty Meadows? Where's that name come from if her name is Brandy? Don't worry, I thought the same thing too. I thought her name was Liberty Meadows. But no, Liberty Meadows is an animal sanctuary where animals with any kinds of problems can go and get these problems fixed, whether they're physical injuries or just mental injuries. So Brandy is an animal psychiatrist, and she constantly is worried about her weight. She thinks she's a bit past her prime, but my goodness, what is her problem? Because she looks fine. And then we meet Frank, and Frank is kind of, I guess, his Gary Lou, is that what it's called? Where the writer puts himself into the story. He is madly in love with Brandy. He's very insecure about himself. There never comes a chance to tell her how he feels about it. And then there's cartoony characters. They're the 2 human characters. There are others later on, but they're the main 2 human characters. You have the characters of Ralph, who's this little circus bear. You have Leslie, the bullfrog, Dean, the chauvinistic pig, who needs detox, and Truman. Truman is the duckling. So the reason I'm recommending this one, though, is the gorgeous artwork. It stands out, especially for characters like Brandy. I mean, that is what he has been put on the map for, are his gorgeous women. But there's also cartoony animals in here. You see him have a different range with his art. It's almost like seeing 2 different worlds, 2 different artists working on the same book. You have thick outlines and then finer lines on the inside. Beautiful, rather busty women later on join. But anyway, don't expect things like Calvin and Hobbes or Far Side type of humor. Not that level. There are some things in here that made me laugh. It's a little bit of sophomoric humor from time to time. But you know, sometimes I need that in my life. Sometimes I need a break from the norm. These are available in these trade paperback editions. There's 4 of them, and then there's one that has the colored pages from the Sundays. That's available in hardcover and in softcover. I think as of this video, the hardcovers are out of print, but the softcovers are still in print. They are bigger size than your trade paperbacks and omnis, so just keep that in mind in case you have specific shelves for those. But yes, if you're interested in the books that are still in print, check out our sponsors. If you live in Europe and are interested in pre-ordering or purchasing omnis, then you should definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices for Marvel and DC big books within the EU. Flat shipping of €9.90 for EU countries. Extremely careful and sturdy packaging. Emails are answered within 24 hours. And they have a superb selection of new releases and out-of-print books on their website. Just head over to waltscomicshop.com for more great deals and rare titles. And for a limited time, you can use the code NEARMINTCON, all one word, at the checkout for free shipping to all EU countries with your first order. Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And those were the graphic novel hidden gems for the month of May of 2022. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these, if you agree that nobody talks enough about them, or you're like, no, there's a reason nobody talks about them because they suck. It's your opinion, and you're more than welcome to state it in the comment section. Let me know what else I should be reading and checking out. Odds are, I'm going to find some hidden gems in the list that you all leave down below. Smash that like button, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, and big thank you to our patrons for making videos like this possible. Oh, and before I go, big shout out to Darkstar916 for sending me a copy of Elsewhere and Fight for Tomorrow. So big thank you to Darkstar916. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.